Hunting a big old buck sometimes takes a bit of creativity. And when the work's done, you're ready, headed in, and all set up, waiting and anticipating, and the buck doesn't follow the plan. You need to be able to adjust on the fly.
The muzzleloader, you get the big puff of smoke. I don't know what happened. We'll see.
We all search for it. Some of us work our entire lives to get there, hoping to get that one chance at the deer of a lifetime. And no matter how hard we work, many never will. But we learn along the way that all that work is what we love, what drives the pursuit. We pass on what we know to our children, give birth to their own search, and hope with all that preparation and dedication, and sometimes some luck that someday we'll be handed the keys that open a door to a land where legends live.
Right when I saw him, I'm like, oh my God, I want him.
It's a heavy, crazy cool deer. Extra stickers.
Probably the biggest deer I've ever killed.
That's pretty neat with those flyers on the front. Just an absolute fantastic deer. He's a gorgeous deer. There's no way a guy could ask for any more.
Stealth Cam presents Dean Partridge's Canadian Whitetail. Brought to you by Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Monster Meal, attract, nourish, retain. Excalibur crossbow, different for a reason. Heater bodysuit, #1 in cold weather hunting gear. New archery products, hunt with confidence. Bog, engineered for the unknown. Hoyman, your land, your legacy. Muddy, serious gear for serious hunters. Glendale 3D Targets, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the world. Nocturnal lighted nocks, switch on accuracy, and let it glow. Boyd's hardwood gun stocks, better with Boyd's. Raculator, score your trophy fast, easy, and accurate. Old timer knives, built for generations. And by Stealth Cam, proven reliability, proven quality, proven performance.
Ken Hayworth carries the name very well known when it comes to hunting whitetails, and last week we shared his most favorite hunt ever, his daughter Quinn's very first deer. I can attest that all fathers look forward to their child's first hunt like it was their very own first Christmas, sharing the anticipation and excitement and pride when they're patient and make a perfect shot after practicing and preparing.
Quinn, good job. Proud dad here. Pretty proud dad. My girl. I don't know how many people can say that they got a deer like this for their first time with a bow. You know, me, 4-corn with a rifle. Good job, girl.
For Ken's own hunt, along the way, he'd been putting things together to go after a big, heavy buck that he'd had a couple of years of history with. Always exceptionally heavy, the buck that Ken was looking for in 2019 to hunt had been a regular in a spot that Ken had had success in the past, and he sets up hoping that the buck is still there.
Setting up a spot on this nice 6x6 I got coming in here. This is the bush I think he's coming out of, so I'm hoping I can set up a blind here, throw out some monster meal, throw up a camera and see if we can get some pictures of him. I'm going to set up the muddy blind and get out of here as quick and as quiet as I can, and we'll see what happens.
After setting up and checking his stealth cam, the buck is still there, this year bigger than ever, carrying a very heavy 5x6 frame, though things at his spot were about to change as season nears, forcing Ken to make a few unconventional adjustments.
This segment of Canadian Whitetail has been brought to you by Glendale, the only 3D target with a replaceable 4-sided core. Glendale, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the universe. Canadian Whitetail is also brought to you by Central Boiler Outdoor Furnaces, the ultimate wood heat. Black Eagle Arrows, advanced carbon technology. Tinks, makers of the finest deer lures and scents. Tacticam, share your hunt. Wild Edge, makers of the stepladder. Cyclops, get out of the dark. Styrka Optics, we see things differently. Elite Archery, the world's most shootable bow. And by Scott Archery. This segment has been brought to you by the Heater Bodysuit. The Heater Bodysuit is the ultimate cold weather hunting garment that allows you to stay on stand longer and sit comfortably. The Heater Bodysuit. You stay warm or your money back.
Well, I come, did a little reconnaissance. I have my spot. I killed my deer here back in 2017, and my spot, the deer was there hanging out early in the year, but farmer had cut his seed alfalfa. Didn't germinate, and the bees took off on him. So now we got a beautiful growth of second growth alfalfa here. They're all coming to this nice green stuff. So he's a mature deer. I found him. He showed up the same year when I found my my old friend, the buck that I originally found in 2012.
As Ken spends a few days watching the field, there was his target buck, coming directly down the car trail to head out to the alfalfa. The buck with a wide, heavy frame regularly on the field and seldom at his original spot, Ken decides to make the adjustments needed even if his new plan is a bit unconventional.
I'm going to set up muddy blind inside the bee hut, and then we're going to wrap it with orange plastic to make it look like the orange bee huts that the deer are familiar with. And if we get a chance, they are coming out, and he's crossing right in here somewhere. So got a couple of hired hands here to give me a hand. I'm a little bit vertically challenged to reach up high, so we're gonna get her done. There we go. It didn't take long, and all we gotta do is come back.
With his new spot set up in the alfalfa, Ken pulls out his muzzleloader to line up and prepare.
This isn't really a spot, but I usually hunt, and I killed my deer in 2017 just in this old cutover in front of me here. And that same year when I started that spot up, I got pictures of a 5x5 heavy, short tines but heavy and wide. Had pictures of them for 3 years now. Was coming this year to my spot, but the farmer cut this field just outside of where my blind is in the bush, and it's got nice lush green alfalfa that's grown up here. So the deer coming out, I've been coming and sitting and watching here, and I've been seeing upwards around 40 deer a night. And it's now October 2nd. Archery season is all over. You can still hunt with the bow, but I brought the muzzleloader today. I sat with my daughter her first year of hunting, and she nailed a nice 5x5 with archery tackle. Drilled that deer. So proud of her. That's the highlight. My new all-time hunting memory is right there. That was my favorite time ever. She like drilled that deer. We'll see what happens. Hopefully good things. Hopefully the good things continue to happen for me so far this season. So
With deer in the alfalfa early and bucks starting to make their way, things for Ken are looking up from his little bee hut in the field.
This segment is brought to you by Heumann and the new no-slip H-grip on their full line of tools. Best-in-class tools for every application. Heumann, your land, your legacy. This segment brought to you by AAE. Innovation and integrity is in our blood. Quality and dependability is in our products.
In, set up, and ready in his muddy bee hut hybrid blind, the deer have started to filter out into the alfalfa. Ken spots this up-and-coming 5x5 feeding in the lush alfalfa, a buck that looks to have amazing potential. Ken's watching the young buck and to the south, where the target buck had been coming out and working north in front of his bee hut, when he sees movement to the far field edge straight in front of him. And there was the big heavy 5x6. Out of range and headed parallel towards the other bucks. One big and incredibly gorgeous buck with long heavy chocolate beams and a row of tines. The deer is still at a range and Ken is forced to just watch. For anyone who's ever experienced it can relate that having a big, giant target buck just out of range is near torture.
Well, that's no good. He come out in front of me. Every other day I've seen him, he'd come out south and worked his way north. Today, he decided to come out straight in front of me and immediately beelined her south. Not good, I gotta go south to get out of here. I don't think I'm gonna get a shot at him tonight, but now it's be just damage control. Let's see if I can get out of here without spooking him.
As Ken begins to accept that he's not going to get a shot, he watches out the side of his blind as the buck begins to work closer with every moment, nearly 90 degrees to the left of his shooting window. And Ken decides to try to make things happen and create a new shooting window in his bee hut and hopefully not spook the deer, making his way even closer.
Welcome to this week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment. Locate, learn, set up, hunt. Brought to you by Muddy Outdoors.
Most hardcore deer guys have already embraced the understanding of the importance that minerals play in their local deer herd. And it's March now. This is when we like to get minerals out. We run minerals all year, but this is kind of the time of year where we freshen up all of our spots. We look for new spots if we want to put minerals out. And during that process, we might utilize a bagged mineral or we might utilize a block, depending on the situation. The nice difference is the block is easily removed. If you have to remove it for any reason or you want to move that mineral site, you decide later that it's not the best spot and you want to move it, all that mineral is not just gone. The bag is good, especially for existing spots where you've had a mineral spot for years. Over the years, we've also noticed the most overlooked part of mineral use is often the most important part, and that's what that mineral is designed for. So salt blocks and trace mineral for livestock, it works. Sure, it works, but what's it really designed for? The ingredients in the monster meal block and the granular loose form are specifically designed for deer nutrition, not for cattle. One of the best parts of monster meals are concept of year-round deer health. So whether it's the mineral, the feeder pellets, or the attractant, everything that monster meal makes is solely focused on making that deer as healthy as possible, making the deer in the area you hunt as healthy as possible. And that's going to help that area produce the best hunting results for you, whether it's does being able to produce better and more healthy milk for their fawns, or bucks being able to produce bigger racks. At the end of the day, healthy deer means good hunting. Nobody can guarantee big results. It takes 3 things to make a big buck, and that's genetics, age class, and nutrition. So anybody that's claiming that they can add 10 or 15 or 20 inches to your buck by using that product, that's a big red flag. But what is certainly the truth, a healthier deer will produce a better rack every single time. A healthier deer will produce more and more nutritious milk for its fawns, which creates a healthier fawn, which creates a better building block throughout that deer's entire life. And that's your Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment for the week.
This week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment has been brought to you by Muddy Outdoors. Share your own muddy moment. This segment of Canadian Whitetail has been brought to you by Bog. More than just a shooting rest. Bog, engineered for the unknown.
Ken's target buck was on the field, though not where he could shoot, but Ken was about to change that. Having gotten all of his gear in position without spooking the deer, Ken knows this is his chance.
Sounded like I hit him. So I'll give it a couple minutes here, grab the flashlights, and go take a look. He come out straight in front of me. He usually comes out from the south and comes across. I think he was only like 60 yards. So, but the muzzleloader, you get the big puff of smoke, and you gotta wait till the smoke clears to see what happens. So I had to cut an extra window out where he come around. I opened on my muddy blinds, got these little windows. I opened it up, I cut myself another window out of the blind. So I don't know what happened. We'll see. I'll go check it out. All right, made the shot here probably about 25 minutes ago with the muzzleloader on 5x5, 5x6 whitetail. We didn't find no blood. I couldn't find blood. I didn't know exactly where he was standing in the alfalfa field, but Danny come along and brought my boy, and they spotted it right away, laying right in the edge of the field. I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't really looking, so go there and pick his head up, buddy. Pick him up. Let's take a look. How's that look?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? Would you shoot that one?
Yeah.
When you start hunting in a couple of years, Quinn got her first deer this year. In a couple of years, Bo will be back out, and hopefully we can find a good deer like this. It's pretty frantic in the blind. When the deer come around, he come totally opposite direction that he usually comes for the direction that my blind is set up. So I actually had to open the little side window in the back of the muddy blind, cut a hole out of the tarp that's wrapped around my blind, and I had the camera and the muzzleloader sticking out the same hole, and he just happened to come over right last thing before the end of the day. But we better get some tags on this thing and get them cleaned up and get them to the shop. Right on, eh, bud?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what a memorable season for Ken, with both his daughter and himself taking a couple of fantastic whitetails. And I'm sure it won't be long before his son Bo is in that mix too. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Canadian Whitetail.
This segment has been brought to you by Wild Edge and the ultimate climbing system, the Step Ladder. Safely design your climb in any tree, anywhere, with the most versatile, lightweight, and compact climbing system, the Step Ladder. To book your own dream hunt in northern Saskatchewan, please contact us at Canadian Whitetail Outfitters. Canadian Whitetail has also been brought to you by these fine sponsors. For exclusive content, follow Dean and the team on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at Whitetail Dean. To view all past and present episodes of Canadian Whitetail, as well as new original content, visit us on our YouTube and Carbon TV channels. For Canadian Whitetail gear and apparel, visit CanadianWhitetailTV.com.